Former Hockey Canada president and CEO Bob Nicholson told a parliamentary committee on Tuesday that he wished the organization would devote more time to developing policies that govern the off-ice behavior of hockey players who play for their approved leagues and teams. Nicholson, who was Hockey Canada's chief executive from 1988 to 2014, was asked by Liberal MP Anthony Housefather why the organization did not have written guidelines on how its officials should handle allegations of sexual assault during his time in charge. "I wish I could go back. I wish I could put in more policy. Policies came from the board. And I'm not reflecting that back to the board. I was the CEO and I had to encourage more policy. That's something I would love to do. I didn't and I'm sorry for that." NDP MP Peter Julian later asked Hockey Canada's practice of discussing sexual assault allegations in front of the camera without a written record. "When you were CEO, were you aware that this was an app?" she asked. Looking back, unfortunately, yes. There's too much on camera, Nicholson said. Tuesday's meeting was the fourth held by members of the Standing Committee on Canadian Heritage to focus on Hockey Canada's historical response to sexual assault allegations. Lawmakers noted that both Nicholson, the current CEO of Oilers Entertainment Group, and Pat McLaughlin, Senior Vice President of Strategy at Hockey Canada, appeared more willing to be more transparent and accommodating than in previous statements from other Hockey Canada officials. Julian criticized those who appeared before the committee, calling it catastrophic for eroding public trust in the organization. "It's the only way out for Hockey Canada to be cleared and transparent," Julian said. "My first question today is the same as the one I asked on October 4th. This is about Navigator, the public relations firm that apparently gives advice on building Canadian hockey walls and refusing to answer questions. I want to ask you who made the decision to hire Navigator. And Hockey Canada eventually, will he reveal the truth and tell us how much of the public funds is spent on the Navigator for public relations?" McLaughlin said Hockey Canada first met Navigator on July 4th and hired them 4 days later. McLaughlin said Hockey Canada has so far paid the firm $1.6 million. Canadian hockey personnel were directed by the board in early July to contact Navigator. They began working with Hockey Canada on July 8, McLaughlin said. "I can tell you that this is not a communications exercise where they are involved. It was, as you say, about transparency. They gave important governance advice to the board. They helped us in trying to find prominent Canadians as part of our action plan and oversight committee. Also our work with the media. They helped us on a day-to-day basis." McLaughlin said Hockey Canada estimated that the loss of corporate sponsors has cost the organization up to $24 million since TSN reported on May 26 that Hockey Canada had resolved an alleged sexual assault lawsuit involving World Juniors players. In a lawsuit filed in London on EM, a woman known as she alleged she was sexually assaulted at a London hotel in June 2018 by 8 former Canadian Hockey League players, at least some of whom were members of Canada's 2018 World Junior team. Following the Canadian Hockey Golf and Gala event, Conservative MP Kevin Waugh asked Nicholson when he first became aware of allegations of sexual assault involving the 2003 World Junior team during the World Juniors tournament in Halifax that year. TSN reported on July 22 that a source who contacted Conservative MP John Mater, a member of the committee, told him that they and 2 others had watched a video that showed more than half a dozen players on the 2003 World Junior team sexually assaulting him. Naked and unresponsive woman. TSN spoke to each of the 3 witnesses about the alleged video. Nicholson said he heard the claim 15. The rumor was brought to me by a media officer at the audition in Montreal on July 7, Nicholson said. This is the first time I've heard anything about the 2003 incident. Nicholson added that Halifax police, which launched an investigation into the alleged attack, did not contact him. Let me say right up front that the allegations about the incident at the 2018 premiere and the 2003 World Junior Tournament are a disgrace, Nicholson told the committee. Such behavior has no place in our game or in our society. I hope both incidents are fully investigated and justice is served. Nicholson was also asked about the 3 reserve funds Hockey Canada potentially uses to pay for uninsured liabilities, including sexual assault agreements. I was the CEO. But that space is really left up to our insurers, Nicholson said. We also had a committee that oversees insurance programs and some expertise. It all came to me. But I wasn't applied to it daily. When former junior players, including Sheldon Kennedy and Theoren Fleury, came forward to say they had been sexually assaulted by their former junior coach Graham James in the late 1990s, Nicholson, who was Hockey Canada's top official, also said he didn't know how many non-disclosure agreements have been signed in connection with alleged sexual assaults. I can't tell you the exact number of NDAs signed, he said. I know where the payments are. There are NDAs signed under Graham James' status. There have been others from the staff in the past.